Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and man do I love some G.I. Joe classified figures, so let's go ahead and crack these things open and let them breathe. So I'm going to start off with the best freaking G.I. Joe ever. This specific version of Snake Eyes, man, it was my all-time favorite G.I. Joe toy, still to this day is. The vintage one is amazing, and I'm so glad we updated it to classified here. This looks awesome, dude. He's just so cool looking. Now, he does have a few issues, and I'll show you what those are shortly, but I think the figure itself is like damn near perfect. First of all, I love the fact that we're getting an entirely new head sculpt. A lot of people thought we were going to get that head sculpt that already existed for Snake Eyes, but this is a brand new head sculpt specifically for this figure. I love all the detailing in the silver parts of the mask there with the little air holes right there, the red goggles, just so freaking iconic, the gray vest, the blues. I love the kanjis right here, the characters right there in gray. On the vintage figure, those were sculpted into the forearm guards, so that's really awesome as well. Lots of really cool parts, gray parts, added stuff too for this modern figure. Things like the gun holster right there, and the little belt strap or the leg strap right here with the kunais right there painted in red, which is really cool. You can see the blue line coming down the leg, again, just like the vintage toy. I love this forearm guards, blue at the bottom of the feet. You got the little bits of red right there, look really cool, man. Oh my god, I just love this so freaking much. I even love like the stretchiness of like the sculpt for the mask pulled back here. I think that is so awesome. Now, I do have the vintage one right here. This is just, again, my favorite G.I. Joe toy. I love this thing. He's the greatest. I always love these neon red weapons and things like that with that backpack, with that crazy huge grapple hook backpack thing, which is just so ridiculous. I love this so much. And you can kind of see maybe a little bit right there with the kanji just again sculpted into the forearm guards. You see that now they're actually painted on with the gray, which I think is just so much better. You can actually see them now. And what I actually do like, I actually like that they gave him the shin guards like that with the blue in the back. With the original, it kind of just looked like he was wearing blue socks, but I don't care. I freaking loved it. I also do wish everything was just more neon red, you know, like the vintage toy, but that's just me, dude. And I also kind of wish he had a backpack, you know, not this crazy launcher, but just some type of backpack. We do get this right here, this little sword sheath thing. Here's one of my complaints. This thing does not hold on to the back all that well, so I had to put some sticky tack to kind of get it on there to stay a little bit better. So that works now, but it still constantly pops off, so I'll probably have to put a little more tack or maybe even glue it in place because I really don't want to take it off. And then I just absolutely hate this holster. It does not, it's a terrible design. It's actually supposed to go like that. That's how the swords are supposed to go. But then what does that mean? That these go like this? And then the swords are very unbalanced, and I don't like that. I got a little bit of a silver paint rub right there. I could just scrape that off. But I also do love the swords that have that little red of the edge of the blade. I think it's really cool to kind of pay homage again to the vintage toy with that neon red, but still, this looks really cool. And I do love those katanas as well. He also does come, again, an homage to that vintage toy with a giant backpack grapple hook thing. He does just get a standard grapple hook with an actual string. That's really rad as well. And then he comes with his submachine gun, which straight out of the box, I straight up lost the suppressor. That's all on me. So anyways, I'm going to buy like 5 of these, so it really doesn't matter. This is a really cool gun. Again, a little bit of that red in there. The magazine does come off like so. And here's another thing right here. It's supposed to go in this holster. It does not stay in there all that well, so I had to put some tack in there as well to get this in there, and then kind of just push it down so that tack actually adheres to the gun itself, and then a gun's not going anywhere. So it does have some issues with, again, the holster. Again, just terrible design. I do not like this thing, so I've been having to do it this way, and it's not really meant to go that way, and I kind of put it off to the side. And then this gun holster really doesn't hold the gun all that well, so I had to use tack on both of those things. But either way, this guy is freaking amazing, man. Again, my favorite G.I. Joe toy of all time, and I'm so glad we finally got him in classified. Now let's talk about some of my favorite things on the planet, which is G.I. Joe Ninja Force. Oh my god, we finally have Slice and Dice here, and I'm going to start off with Dice. This is amazing to me. People will never understand how much I truly love Ninja Force. They are my favorite G.I. Joes. Like a lot of us from the 80s and 90s, a lot of us were obsessed with ninjas and things like that. But Ninja Force, man, those toys were just so incredible to me. I actually have the entire vintage collection. I have every figure from Ninja Force, including Shadow Ninjas. So getting these classified versions, oh my god, are just so much fun. I love the updates here to like the mask. The mask just looks incredible with those like teeth here and just the whole sculpture of the mask itself, the shoulder pads. And you got added things like these new forearm guards and the shoulders and things like that. Little bits of red you would get here, and the drapery coming down, it's a little tattered. And then shin guards right here, again, have that little scale to them, like a little dragon scales to them, which is really cool. Even that pouch right there, there's a little bit of that dragon scales, which I think looks really cool. I just love this, man. Little bits of silver going throughout the figure just look amazing as well. I am just so happy with the way these turned out. Now, again, I do have my vintage dice right here. It looks super rad. Again, really cool update. I really love the purple that they used for the newer one. I just love how this turned out. You got those vintage silver weapons. That mask was always just so cool. It kind of makes me wonder, we do have a repaint of this figure in the Red Ninja for the Ninja Force line, so I kind of wonder if we'll do a Red Ninja version of this guy, just, you know, redecoed maybe. I mean, I can see that happening with like maybe a different head sculpt, I don't know, but I think he looks awesome, dude. I love him so much. Now on to my boy Slice. Dear God, again, he looks so good, dude. Oh, I love Ninja Force so much. I love, first of all, again, the mask, helmet, whatever you want to call it here. I love the straps that are holding on the actual metal piece, that fencing helmet type thing. I always thought it was weird that he had a fencing helmet, but I don't care, mask, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why he had it, but it looked awesome, and I think it looks really cool. I love how they gave it a little bit of shape to it like that. That looks really rad. But again, the additions to like the shoulder pads here, those new forearm guards look awesome. The little red like straps going throughout the figure. That black fade into the red looks really cool. Same thing with the silver towards the shin guards here. All looks amazing. Even the belt and the headband, which were soft goods on the vintage figure. I just love how he turned out, man. Now hear me bust out my vintage Slice right here, and you can see that. I kind of wish he had that kind of like star pattern fade thing on the vintage toy, and he got his weapons like that. But you know, I get it. I think this actually looks a lot better. Maybe they'll do a retro version with more accurate like paint. I don't know. They've been doing that with some of the classified figures, so maybe we'll do that. See, and maybe on a, oh my god, maybe on a Ninja Force card. Oh my god. But anyways, this is awesome, dude. I used to love Slice and Dice. Especially Slicer, I don't know what it was. He was always one of my favorites. And then just getting him in the classified, dude, God, he looks so good. The Joe team over there at Hasbro, in my opinion, definitely doing the Lord's work. I am so stoked for how he came out. Again, you can even see how he just got actual like soft goods ribbon for like the headband and the belt here. Now we have him in molded plastics. So I don't know, man. I love it so much. He just looks so good. Now, we actually do have head options with this set, which is really fun. So we have this really cool bald head. We've never actually seen Dice unmasked or unhelmeted, but it's really cool. He has like a scar going over across his face, which looks awesome. I do love that a lot. We also do get this like scarf piece here that you could put over either of the figures, and this really cool like hat that he can throw with the blades around it. That's really cool. I think he looks awesome with this. I think they look a little better on Dice, in my opinion. I've tried them with Slice, but Dice, they look pretty cool, so I do like that a lot. You can pop this head off here, and we're gonna pop on this amazing head sculpt, this dragon head sculpt, which just looks so good. It really ties in like that scale pattern, like dragon scales for like the gloves and things like that. But you have a full-on dragon helmet there, and you can still see some of the purple in the back, the blues, the reds, even got the whiskers right there sculpted in. Very fun, very cool new design. Again, this is what I'm loving about Classified. Not only do we get, of course, the more vintage type stuff, just a little updated, but we get options where we can have different looks or even different characters if you really want to. That's badass, man. I love that so freaking much. So the same thing with Slice, we do get an alternate head sculpt for him as well, which is this like scorpion, like insectoid head which looks super cool. Still has the same like straps and little dangly bits in the back there, but I love that it has an entirely new faceplate to go, you know, be more cohesive with the original mask with that silver. But man, that looks awesome to give this guy a whole new look, which looks again just so rad to me. But then let's talk about all the accessories we do get. We get multiple hands for each figure, each character, and then just a plethora of different weapons, some vintage style weapons, some more modern weapons. I mean, you get a ton of stuff with these dudes. So this is kind of how I've loaded up Dice here. This is kind of just my preferred look. I did go with the scarf because I think it actually really does look really cool on him. Then he has that long bladed staff weapon, which I think looks great. I put his little mini axes right here kind of dangling from the back of the belt. You can see how I did that. I love that. And again, all these weapons are from the vintage toy. You got like that axe right there. You got that staff weapon, which I think looks really cool. So I think he turned out great like that, especially again when you load them up with all their accessories. Man, I think they look awesome. And then of course we have Slice here, again loaded up. I put the little kunai strap on across the body like that for him. I put the little holster there with his hook swords on the back like so. And then again, I keep hitting my light here because I have big chunky hands, but I put these like really cool like stinger weapons. I think it look really cool. Those blades, hand blades look awesome. I think they go good with that kind of like scorpion more mask. And he got his big knives. I love the fact they even have the tiny little sai on the wrist there. That's actually removable this time. Again, the same type of hook sword on the vintage figure. We got those blades, and then you can see on this figure the tiny little sai right there on the wrist. And now we have it like that. Again, awesome, dude. I think these guys are amazing. God, more Ninja Force, please. I love them so much. They both came out just, oh my God, just damn near perfect in my opinion. So here is Budo. Man, I am so stoked that we got this in Classified. Budo's one of those characters I never actually had as a kid, but I remember always wanting him. So it's really cool to finally get him in Classified. He looks so good, and just to see all the parts and options that he comes with is just insane. You'll see those shortly, but I love the look here. Again, a little more modern. I love these. He has, it seems like some type of like communication device here with like a walkie-talkie, some like gun ammo clips and things like that. You have his sword sheath right there off to the side. You have his pistol in there that does come out, of course, and he does have a sword right here that you can remove as well. Love that red scarf. I love that it has like G.I. Joe in like, I'm assuming Japanese kanji right there, right? I'm assuming that's what that is, which is super dope. I love that it's in like actual Japanese, which is pretty cool. But the armor looks awesome. Everything about this guy, dear God, dude. They did such a good job, and it's with these little red like gems or whatever they are there. Then you got the more unhelmeted look for him, again with his hair up in a bun, little man bun like there, a little samurai type of hair. Looks so good, the shaved head, all that. God, this looks awesome, dude. You can go ahead and take his helmet. He does come with his helmet that he would normally come with, like in the vintage figure. I'm kind of pop this on off camera here because it can be a little tricky, especially to get that chin strap on like that. So let me just give it a little push down. There you go, something like that. It has a little mouthpiece right here so you can speak into that. That's really rad too. But again, I love like very military yet very samurai with this helmet. I think that looks so good, dude. Oh my God, he's so freaking rad. Then you can give him his like machine gun here, or his rifle, whatever you want to call it. I don't know guns all that well. I've always been more of a knife and sword guy. And this thing does, oh my God, does have a bipod on there, but it is like fighting me right now to like get into position. I don't know what's going on. But let me, come on, dude. This is, you are making me look so bad on camera right now. I swear to the heavens. It was not this difficult the whole time I've been playing with them. I don't know why it's so difficult now. Oh my God. But anyways, there it goes. I don't know what's going on right now, dude. But that's a cool gun, man. Again, very much like the vintage figure. I do love that. Again, it has a little bipod here that you can put down if you like. But that just looks so dope, dude. Oh my God. I always thought Budo was such a cool character. Then again, now to see him more upgraded, and that is still not on. What is happening? I had done it so easily several times, and now it's just like wants to fight me while I'm on camera just to make me look like an ass. So whatever, dude. It still looks great. I freaking love how this turned out, dude. Budo was always, again, just such a cool character. Oh man, I really got to go back and just find that vintage figure to go side by side with him. He just looks awesome. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and strip him down, and I'm going to show you everything else that he does come with. So here he is pretty much stripped down of like all the extra armor bits that can be removed. So this is what he looks like under all that gear. I went ahead and put the newer head on there as well, with the hair draping down. I love that. You got a little bit more of a goatee going on. I think that's a really cool head sculpt. I think it looks awesome. A new look for Budo. Again, you see the gloves and things like that. A very bare figure, you know what I mean? So again, you do have options, which is really cool. But now let's go ahead and add all of his more accurate samurai armor. Now here he is more fully samurai'd up with all that really cool armor. Man, this thing looks rad, dude. I'm so glad that they did this. And this is what I like about Classified. They're giving this some more traditional versions, but then you get things like this where you can completely upgrade to a different version. So I see a lot of people wanting to buy 2 of these as well to have both versions. But this is just cool, man. I love what they're doing over there. The samurai armor plating looks really rad. Just the addition of this new whole upper arm piece, the skirt piece right here, even like the shin guards and knee guards and things like that, the forearm guards, all that kind of stuff, with the dual sheath right there. Then I hung the more longer sword over the shoulder like that. Even this little neck piece is new, a new helmet and everything, which looks really cool. I love all this, dude. It is so cool looking. I'm so, again, just so stoked that they basically gave us a whole new figure with this as well, which is really rad, man. So really make this guy deluxe, and he feels just so awesome. One of my few complaints though is going to be, I just hate the way they sheathe the scabbards, where it's kind of like curving front to back like that. I feel like it should be coming front downwards, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of hard to draw a sword the way they do that. And a lot of toy companies do that. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. That's just a minor complaint for me, I guess. I don't know what it is. But you can also just add this like wicker like type of cape thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the head off like that. And you can add that over that collar piece. Pop the head on like that. And there you go. Now he can become the king of the wicker people, which is awesome still. That's cool too. You know, you have multiple options for display here. You could mix and mash with the regular Budo parts if you want to. Really pretty much do anything you like. But again, he just came out so good, man. I'm very happy with this. So now let's talk the Desert Scorpion. Oh my god. This is one of my favorite figures of all time from the vintage line. The vintage figure has been on one of my top of my list to get, so I'm hoping to pick him up soon. But man, I loved that toy as a kid, and now I have this classified version, which I think looks so freaking awesome. I love this. I love you got the Cobra tattoo right there, but I love how we get like, you know, it's still, again, this is what I love about Classified. It still very much looks like that vintage figure. It's very much Desert Scorpion. But then you have a little modern designs with the gauntlets here and the gloves, these pads right here on the side. The same thing with like the boots, that really deep gold, which looks so good in the paint. Oh my, I love freaking, oh my god, I just love Classified so much. Even all these like bullets are painted here on the sides like that, which is really cool. That awesome helmet, oh my god, this is actually soft goods for the back of the helmet right there, and this really cool like cape kind of thing. Oh my god, it looks so good. The design of the new helmet looks so rad. You got those grenades there. This is awesome, dude. And I think one of the reasons why I loved this guy so much is, again, because I loved this guy so much. And don't they look fairly similar with the red goggles and the kind of like mouth mask and things like that? I think that's why I liked him so much too, because again, this was my favorite G.I. Joe of all time. So I remember getting this guy, I was like, ooh, this guy's awesome. So maybe it was those similarities, I don't know. But I thought he was just so freaking cool. The head can pop off. It's a little tight for this guy right here, but if you want, again, this is a separate piece, that whole scarf piece, and if you want to just rock the helmet like that, with just that softer goods piece coming down like that, you can do so. Oh my god, dude, I am so in love with this figure, man. Classified just keeps killing it. So one thing I do like, we actually do get an interchangeable faceplate, so this will just pop off like that. And you can see how that looks right there. And we're going to take this one on because this is something I don't think we've ever seen before, maybe in like comics or something, but we get to see a Desert Scorpion unmasked. I love that. I love that he has like a little bit of a more tan skin, the beard and things like that. So I think that's awesome, man. This just looks so cool. I love the fact that they even did something like that. I'm going to pop that off. I'm going to go ahead and pop that. Again, it can be kind of tight, so you can get that off like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this faceplate back on, because I actually do want to get this cape back on here. So let me fiddle with this real quick. Get that on like him. If I'm even doing this right, I really don't know. I don't even know if there's actually a right way or not. I kind of think you just do however you want and bunch it up however you want, hanging to whatever side, however you want. Pop that back in. So very, very cool. We do get his backpack, which is really rad. I love that as well. Some good details on there. I love this little thing right here is articulated, has multiple hinges, a little ball joint at the top piece like that. We also do get this like spear weapon or harpoon, I don't know, really some type of spear, has a handle like that. Really, really cool. This can clip onto a little C-clip on the side like so. And then we do have a port on the back right here. Now this port works pretty good. Sometimes in classified figures, these ports for the backpacks can be a little, I don't know, not as tight as I would like. I wish they could be a little bit tighter. Wish there was a better way to connect those, but I mean, for the most part, they work. Now, if I'm correct, this is a type of scanner or aimer. Like, I'll explain that shortly. Kind of see what I mean here. But then you do get the hose again, much like the vintage figure, where you can plug this, on the side of the helmet like that, and you kind of wrap it around through here. And there's a tiny little peg on the backpack towards the top here. Maybe I should have took that spear off first. And I'm sure you guys are enjoying this video, just watching me totally just struggle through a lot of things like this. Oh my god. So you can do that like there you go. See, now you got that hose kind of connected right there like that. Then you of course do get his signature like assault rifle as well. Again, much like the vintage figure, I do love that. You do get this really cool grapple gun, which I think is really cool too. This is the same one that came with the Alley Viper. This time around, you actually do get a string, so that's really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just pop this in the hand like so. Let's see if I struggle with this. No, like that. Yeah, that was actually pretty easy. So I'm gonna have that one right there like that. So there you go. What's also really cool, we actually do get these little hand claws. You get 2 of these, 1 for each hand like that. And these are awesome, dude. This is something I don't think this came with the original figure. Did it? Or am I just completely like not remembering properly? But these are awesome, dude. These are really cool little additions that I'm pretty sure they added for classified, which I didn't know I needed. But now that I have them in hand and on this figure, I think those look pretty rad, dude. So again, I just freaking love what Classified's doing. I mean, they do so much right stuff for this line. This is one of the few lines that really makes me feel like a kid again and really made me fall in love with the franchise all over again. So again, this just makes me very, very happy. So now we're going to talk about this. I have absolutely loved what specifically Classified and Hasbro themselves, I guess, have been doing with their animals and creatures, like a lot of us. I mean, we are so impressed with what they're doing over there, and Scorpion 25 here is amazing, dude. It's a giant freaking scorpion. Like, here's the figure itself, and you can just see how big this scorpion is. Not a little scorpion, this thing is freaking huge, dude. Now, if I remember correctly, it doesn't say in the bio of this figure or anything, but on the vintage figure, aren't these scorpions actually robots, right? And he uses the thing on his backpack as like a targeting system for the scorpion. Like, if he targets a character or somebody, then this scorpion will attack wherever that targeting system pointed at or whatever, right? Or am I just completely making that up in my own head canon? So I don't know. But anyways, the sculpt is so cool. Look at all the bumps and things like that. The paint in those like green eyes, the little mandibles right here, that tail with that stinger looks so good. All these legs are articulated on ball joints, and even like their, I don't know, somewhat knee joint, I guess you would want to say. But like their claws are just so big and huge, and again, articulated everywhere. Even that those can open and close and move around. This tail is like fully like segmented and can just do pretty much whatever you need it to do. That underbelly is gnarly looking. I mean, good God, dude, whoever is working on just the animals over at Hasbro, give that person a freaking raise, because they are just doing incredible work for this line. I think so many of us would be down to purchase just like animal packs, because if they're going to be this quality and this well articulated, I mean, God, I would pay the money for these. This is awesome, dude. And I can see people buying multiples of the Desert Scorpions, of course, just because they're army builders, but to get multiple Scorpions, dude, and this thing is just incredible. I'm so super impressed with this. Now it is time for the main event. We have the Snake armor, and I cannot believe I actually have this in hand right now. Oh my God, so I never actually had the vintage Snake, and I still don't. I remember always wanting that thing. I just thought it was so cool. You could actually pop a figure in it. And now we have this big beefy boy right here. Oh my God, so there's a lot to go over. So I love all the writing on here. Like you got the caution right here, you got the Snake Danger M7, you have the Cobra logo right here, which I think looks so cool. If you can't tell on camera, there actually is a little bit of a wash going throughout the entire thing here, which is really cool. And you can even see kind of tiny little dents and nicks. It's very subtle, but when you look at it up close, God, it looks so awesome. It just looks like this thing has seen battle, which I love. I even love the little like faux lights that you get right there. I wish those were actual LEDs. That would be amazing, but I get it. Hey, I still think it looks awesome. Again, the paint, the sculpt work looks so good. Those forearms there look great. Again, just little decos like that really make this thing stand out, especially on the back here. You got the caution, jet fuel, and some of these pieces do need to be put on out of the box, like this centerpiece with the thrusters comes off. These fuel tanks are off out of the box, so you have to attach all that kind of stuff. But I mean, good God, dude. And he's a big boy. Like, he's not super heavy, because there are parts that are very hollow, like the upper shoulders here are hollow. These leg pieces are hollow, so he's not super solid, but he does not feel cheap. He does not feel like super lightweight or anything like that. I just absolutely love how this turned out. I'll just go over this real quick. The articulation, since I'm not going over articulation in any other figures, I do want to go over the articulation with this guy. The shoulders can kind of pop out, and then it does go up and down. They're just on ball joints here, and you can move this around up like that. I kind of wish it was ratcheted, but it does hold pretty tight. You can go up and down. Can only go up and out that far. A little bit better when you kind of like pop them out of that joint, that socket right there, rotate. We got bends at the elbows, which is really nice. The hands can't come off because there are attachments. Same thing with these pieces. You have to pop these pieces in before you put any of the arm attachments on like that. There is a actual waist swivel that's ratcheted, which is very interesting. And again, the hips can kind of pop in and out like that, and you can kind of kick all the way up like so. Again, I wish those were ratcheted, but whatever, they still work pretty good. They're pretty tight. Back, you know, we got bends at the knees. The ankles can go up and down. No ankle rocker. That's probably my most disappointing thing. I really wish you can get ankle rocker to get a little more diverse stances. But I understand these things are pretty much just like walking tanks, you know what I mean? So you're not going to get any crazy like ninja poses, but I still wish it were there. But still, man, this thing is so impressive. The cockpit does open, and I'm going to show you. These will just detach like so, like that. I open that up. We can open the head up. I like to pull these shoulders back, because then these parts are going to open like so, and then this whole piece is going to come down like that. And you can see I have the Stinger driver in there, because I just think he works really good with this suit. And I just love the detail here. You have like almost like a ladder piece going on. You got some nice scanners and things like that. All kinds of really cool detail going throughout this. And I love those little grips, and even have little grips up here around the waist, so you can make it look like he's actually climbing into the suit here. And then I just love the interior itself. You have that seat, which is really nice. I do dig all that. Even on the sides, you get this really cool, like little scanners and readers and little screens and things like that. Super dope. Figure can be a little tricky to get in there, but once you have them in there, he's so secure. The handles are on little ball pegs, so you can maneuver those around to really get a good grip with your figure there. So again, I have the Stinger Pilot. I just think he looks really cool in this suit, so that's who I'm going to be using. So again, I'm going to lift this up there, then close these, and then bring down the shoulders and make sure those are pegged in like that. And then we're going to bring that headpiece down. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see the pilot in there a little bit. My light might be kind of like, you know, drowning him out, but you can still see him in there a bit. I love this dude. Again, I hope we get more other versions of this. I'm sure we will down the road, because I genuinely want other versions of this thing because it's so badass. I'm talking about you, Python Patrol. I want a Python Patrol snake armor. Is that wrong? I don't care, man, but I love it. So let's talk about accessories that we actually do get. Again, we do not get a pilot with this guy, so again, that's why I put the Stinger driver in there, and that's cool. I appreciate they're keeping the cost down a little by not giving us, and we have, I'm sure a lot of us have Army Builders figures that we can put in there, and it's really meant for anyone. I don't think there's any really specific snake armor like pilot, you know what I mean? But we do get different attachments. We do get this missile attachment, which is really cool, just a giant missile you can launch out of his hand, which is really rad. We get this thing. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but it does have a port there. I don't know if this is some type of like laser gun or weapon, maybe, but it looks really cool. I do appreciate that a lot. We get this really cool claw weapon also, which is really rad. It does not open or close. I kind of wish it did, though. That would have been awesome if it did, but it's just a solid plastic piece like that. And then we do get this awesome like flamethrower. This handle piece could be moved back and forth. I do love that. We do get port in a couple of these weapons. That's because we actually do get some little flame effect pieces. So you have like a tiny one there, which is a little burst of flame coming off like that. We have this more poofy type of flame coming off, and we've seen these before. I think Blowtorch had all these accessories, right? And then you have one with more of like a longer stream, so you can plug these in to there like so, which looks rad. And then all you have to do is take off like these hands. Again, these black pieces are separate. Those can come on and off, but those are for extending that and attaching the weapon like so, and you could have something like that. So go ahead and take that off, and then let's go ahead and take this other hand and take this one off, and we'll put the claw hand on in the meantime. So now you have a claw arm or hand and a blowtorch flamethrower hand on the other, and you could mix and match, do whatever you want. I could totally see people buying multiples of these to have different displays and things like that, but that's awesome, dude. I'm just so happy with this thing. I'm so stoked that we're getting, you know, maybe not the biggest vehicles, but we're still getting vehicles and things like that for classified. Normally, I'm not into vehicles and things like that, but when it comes to G.I. Joe, I love stuff like this, man. It's just so cool to have a snake armor in 2025 for a 6-inch G.I. Joe line. Super impressed, Hasbro team. This guy is totally badass.
So there it is, guys, my look at some G.I. Joe classified figures. And man, it is a great time to be a classified fan. Starting off with that version 4 Snake, guys, again, my all-time favorite G.I. Joe toy growing up as a kid. I just cannot believe we finally have it in classified. It is amazing. Again, he has a little bit of issues, especially with the holsters of the weapons and things like that. But I love him. The updated sculpt and design overall, oh my god, I've just been playing with him non-stop. I have not had this much fun with a G.I. Joe in honestly forever, and I just love him so much. I'm also a giant Ninja Force fan. I have the entire vintage line, so getting Slice and Dice is just crazy to me that we have these in 2025, and they're such great updated figures. I'm so impressed with them. They came out amazing, and I can't wait for more Ninja Force, man. Give me all of it. Give me Crazy Mohawk Zartan and stuff like that, and Dojo and all those guys. Oh my god, I love it so much. And then we have Budo. Budo is so cool. Again, a figure I always wanted as a kid, and I just cannot believe how badass he turned out in Classified. Loving the fact that the G.I. Joe team went all out and just gave us 2 different looks, so I can see people wanting to buy multiples of this guy to have the different displays for the looks, which is just incredible. He turned out awesome, all the different guns and swords, and again, just able to switch out of looks is just really cool to me. Desert Scorpion is another one of my favorites as a kid. Oh my god, he is just such a badass and beautiful update. I love the new interchangeable faceplate swap. That's really cool, but the look of him just looks awesome. Again, very classic of the Desert Scorpion, but it also looks very updated, which is great. I love the soft goods on that figure, and oh my god, the fact that we got an actual giant articulated scorpion that's very well sculpted and painted, dude, that is incredible. I'm so impressed with the animals that Hasbro's been putting out with the G.I. Joe team. And then the snake armor, man. It's crazy to me that we're even getting giant mechs and vehicles in classified 6-inch scale. That is so dope. I love the classified line so much, man. So this is such a fun toy. And again, it has its issues, but I love it. It's just big and bulky and a big honking toy. And again, something I never had as a kid, but always wanted. So hopefully get other versions, because I definitely want a Python Patrol snake armor. Maybe that's just me, but still, this piece is badass, man. I absolutely love what the classified line has been doing. Such great toys, such great updates to my childhood. Keep going, Hasbro, because these pieces are amazing, a lot of fun, and in my opinion, all of them are a definite must get. So don't forget to be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.